In the ever-evolving landscape of horror cinema, few concepts have proven as enduring as the home invasion thriller. The original, The Strangers, 2008, left an indelible mark on the genre with its stripped-down approach and chilling simplicity. Now, 16 years later, director Renny Harlin attempts to breathe new life into the franchise with The Strangers Chapter 1, the first installment of an ambitious new trilogy. While the film boasts some intriguing elements, it ultimately struggles to recapture the raw terror that made its predecessor so effective, instead delivering what feels like a dollar store version of the original. The story follows Maya, Madeleine Petsch, and Ryan, Froy Gutierrez, a young couple celebrating their 5-year anniversary with a cross-country road trip. Their journey takes an ominous turn when they find themselves stranded in the small Oregon town of Venus. Forced to spend the night in an Airbnb, they soon become the targets of 3 masked assailants known as Dollface, Pin-Up Girl, and Scarecrow. What follows is a night of escalating tension and violence as Maya and Ryan fight for survival against seemingly motiveless killers. On paper, this premise holds promise. The isolated setting of a strange town adds a layer of unease, and the use of an Airbnb as the primary location feels like a timely update to the classic cabin-in-the-woods trope. However, Harlin and screenwriters Alan R. Cohen and Alan Friedland struggle to build the same sense of creeping dread that made the original film so effective. One of the strengths of Chapter 1 lies in its lead performances. Madeleine Petsch brings a vulnerability and determination to Maya that helps anchor the film. Froy Gutierrez Ryan serves as a solid counterpart, and their chemistry as a couple feels genuine. This emotional foundation is crucial as it gives weight to the horrors that unfold around them. The film's production design deserves praise for creating an atmosphere of unease. The small-town setting of Venus is effectively portrayed as both quaint and slightly off-kilter, hinting at dangers lurking beneath its surface. The Airbnb location is utilized well, with its unfamiliarity adding to the characters' sense of displacement and vulnerability. However, where Chapter 1 falters is in its execution of the core horror elements. The original film's power came from its minimalism and the inexplicable nature of its antagonists. Here, Harlin opts for a more conventional approach, with increased action and violence that, while occasionally shocking, lacks the psychological impact of the 2008 film. The masked strangers themselves, while still visually unsettling, feel somewhat diminished in this iteration. Their appearances are more frequent, and their actions more overtly aggressive, which paradoxically makes them less terrifying. The film struggles to maintain the delicate balance between revealing too much and too little, often erring on the side of excess. Pacing is another issue that plagues Chapter 1. The film takes its time establishing the setting and characters, which is commendable, but once the terror begins, it feels oddly rushed. Set pieces that should be nail-biting often come across as perfunctory, lacking the sustained tension that made the original so memorable. One of the more interesting aspects of the film is its attempt to expand the mythology of the Strangers. Hints are dropped about the town's history and the possible origins of the killers, which could set up intriguing developments in the planned sequels. However, this world-building sometimes comes at the cost of immediate scares, leaving the audience more curious than frightened. The film's climax, while intense, feels somewhat predictable for those familiar with the genre. Without spoiling specifics, it's safe to say that the final confrontation and its aftermath don't quite deliver the gut punch that one might hope for. The ending does, however, set up potential directions for the subsequent chapters in a way that may pique viewers' interest. Technically, Chapter 1 is competently crafted. Harlin's direction is solid, if not particularly innovative. The cinematography effectively captures both the vast, isolating landscapes of the American countryside and the claustrophobic interiors of the Airbnb. The sound design is particularly noteworthy, with silence often used to great effect to heighten tension. It's worth noting the challenging production circumstances of this film. Shot back-to-back with its 2 sequels over a compact 52-day schedule, Chapter 1 was made under unique constraints. Harlin and his team deserve credit for crafting a coherent narrative under such demanding conditions. However, this rushed production may also account for some of the film's shortcomings in terms of pacing and depth. While it functions as a standalone story, there's a sense that some elements are being held back for future installments. This approach may frustrate viewers looking for a more complete experience, but could pay off if the subsequent chapters deliver on the groundwork laid here. The film's treatment of its villains is particularly interesting when considering the trilogy format. By potentially expanding on their backstory and motivations, the filmmakers risk demystifying what made the Strangers so terrifying in the first place. It's a delicate balance between satisfying audience curiosity and maintaining the enigmatic nature of these killers. A significant issue with Chapter 1 is the characters' decision-making, which often strains credibility. As one viewer pointed out, there are numerous instances where the protagonists act in ways that defy logic or self-preservation instincts. For example, during a scene where the antagonist is breaking down a door with an axe, the characters inexplicably fail to utilize an available ground floor window as an escape route. Such moments pull the audience out of the experience, making it difficult to empathize with the character's plight. The film also suffers from an over-reliance on horror movie tropes and cliches. Jump scares are abundant, and many situations feel derivative of other, better-executed films in the genre. While there are a few effective moments of tension, such as a scene involving a character accidentally impaling their hand on a nail, these are often overshadowed by more predictable setups. Another point of contention is the film's attempts at emotional resonance. There are scenes where the characters engage in heartfelt conversations or tender moments that feel jarringly out of place given the immediate danger they face. These poorly timed interludes further undermine the film's sense of urgency and realism. Despite these criticisms, The Strangers, Chapter 1 does have its moments. The film manages to create a palpable sense of unease in certain scenes, and there are flashes of the tension that made the original so effective. However, these moments are too few and far between to elevate the overall experience. Ultimately, The Strangers, Chapter 1 feels like a missed opportunity to truly reinvigorate the franchise. It's not without its merits, but it fails to leave the same lasting impact as its predecessor. For die-hard fans of the franchise or horror enthusiasts looking for a familiar thrill, Chapter 1 might offer some entertainment value. However, for those seeking the same level of innovation and genuine fear that the original Strangers delivered, this new installment is likely to disappoint. As we anticipate Chapters 2 and 3, questions linger about this new trilogy's potential. Will it successfully expand the Strangers universe, or should it have remained a mystery like its masked villains? Only time will reveal if future installments can overcome this chapter's shortcomings and deliver a more satisfying, terrifying experience. Horror is subjective after all. Your experience might differ vastly from mine, so share your thoughts. Did this new chapter resurrect your fear of unexpected visitors, or did it leave you longing for the original's simplicity? Let's discuss the hits, misses, and everything in between. Thanks for joining this terrifying journey. Unmask your thoughts in the comments. Did Chapter 1 scare you or bore you? Like and subscribe for more chilling reviews.